All right, y'all. So we're going to do this just from the YouTube. So I can definitely see your comments coming from the YouTube page. Um, but something quirky is going on with the Facebook group that I have to figure out. So let's go ahead and get to rocking. Otherwise, I'm going to throw something. I'm just, it's Friday. Is too much. Too much going on and not enough of what I need. So, what we're going to focus on today, because we've already done the goal setting, we did it from the perspective of an entrepreneur and the perspective of someone who has a career, working the 9 to 5, could be salaried, executive, whatever the case may be. So we did our goal setting sheets for both of those scenarios. And I want to go over really quick, just as a reminder, what productivity is and how we need to view it, how we need to see it. Okay, so productivity is the act of focusing on and completing the tasks that need to be completed in order to accomplish the established goals that will lead you to success. It's not about just doing a whole bunch of things. Okay? That's not it. That is not it. That's being busy. Productivity is focusing on completing the task that's going to lead you to success based on the goals that you have established. So, we did our circle of life, we did our goal setting sheets. Now we're going to look at putting those items into our calendar, into um, and what I'm going to show you is a type of calendar. I actually like this setup. It's the weekly planner. He gave me a double. Let me remove that. Hold on one second. I'm going to see if it will allow me to, if I go to a bigger screen. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. If I go to a bigger screen, will y'all still be able to see it? Oh, hold on. All right. It's still a little small. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to try to bring up the whiteboard from a bigger screen. I know one time when I was sharing my screen from Zoom, we could see it in the Facebook group, but then could not see it on YouTube. So I'm going to see if this will work. So let's see. So give me a second. I'm going to the YouTube page and we're going to see. Do, 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 do. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. If you are on YouTube and you can see the big screen, let me know. So I'm trying to pull up the live video right now. And I want to make sure that you all can see what I'm doing. Okay. It's not as big as I would like it, but you can see it, it looks like. And if I go back here, this is what you all are looking at. Okay. So let's see if I can get this bigger. Lord have mercy. We're gonna see if it'll let me do it. We're gonna move that one off. And let's go this way. All right. In the weekly planner, and I will do my absolute best with this. Even though I'm showing you just a few days, it's obviously not the whole week, but this is the weekly planner sheet that's in the profit planner that's going to be available or that is available for BPC members. So this allows you, as you can see, the different lines. It's not dated, so you can put the date in. Um, and if you remember from our goal setting sheet, we had action steps. And when you're doing your goal setting, you're going to have those same things, action steps. But when you're planning for your week, when you're planning for the day, you don't write in those generalized action steps, because if you remember about the SMART goals, we have to make sure that the goals, even if they are specific, even if they are measurable, we have to make sure that they are achievable. And one of the reasons that people get into the overwhelm of it all is they're not making sure that their goals make sense. They're not making sure that their goals are achievable for or on a daily basis. Okay. They're not broken down to where your blood pressure stays low, where it makes sense in your mind and it makes sense for your day. What do I mean by make sense for your day? This is what I mean. So if we start with the entrepreneur, okay, let's give the scenario of the entrepreneur who's also working a daytime job, because that is more common than not. It takes a few years unless you were born with the silver spoon and your family just left you $20,000 to go start a business. If that's your situation, that's me hand clapping for you. Okay. That's me giving you the props. The average person has to figure out how to build their business while still maintaining their job. And not everyone has the ability to work on their business while they're at their job. Now, you might have breaks every now and then, definitely have your lunch, but in many scenarios, lunch is 30 minutes. You can't even get to the bathroom and back and properly digest your food in 30 minutes. So, we're going to go over several different scenarios to show you how this can work for you. Because what I don't want you to do, and what I've said before, you don't need to do it like somebody else does it. You don't need to allow other people to define what success looks like for you. You know what you're working with. And yes, it may take you longer. But if you are consistent, consistency is key. If you are consistent, which means you are disciplined, okay, you will get there and it will take off. I promise you, it will take off. It's going to feel like it's moving in slow motion, but don't make any assumptions, don't make any comparisons. Plan your week by planning your days. And I want you to write that down. Plan your week by planning your days. So I'm going to attempt, if I can't make this full screen for me to get it a little bit bigger. Lord have mercy. I tell you, I got 4 eyes, but sometimes shit, it's critical up in here. Okay. So what I teach is that either Saturday or Sunday are your planning days. Okay? Saturday or Sunday. It does not matter which one, Saturday or Sunday. And on your planning day, we're going to pretend like this particular Sunday is the 27th. We're going to put 6. Yeah. Y'all knew that child was coming because every time I get ready to write, that's what I promise you I don't have chicken scratch. Okay. If you are a person that you know good and doggone well, you are not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to work, please don't put that on yourself. Remember your SMART goals. It has to be realistic. It has to be realistic. And here's reality. For this person who is working, they may say, I'm not getting up early on the weekend unless I absolutely have to because I need that time to rest. And that could be absolutely what you need to do. So, and that's fine. That is okay. And if you're the person that you say, well, Sunday is my time I go to church, or if Saturday is the time that you go to church, you're going to put that in your planner, whatever that time is, okay? And you're going to put that time frame. So for me, on Sundays, honestly, I'm not free until about 4. about 3 or 4. So I would normally start my planning around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Let's say for this person at 5 p.m., they're going to do their planning. And they're going to have it from 5 to 7. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. During that planning period, they're looking at everything that they've got going on for the week. They're also looking at things that maybe had to be rescheduled from the previous week. And a lot of times, what I do, because I always have my phone with me. So I have things in my phone that I need to bring over into my paper calendar. So this all takes place during that planning period. Now, there may be times where you don't need a full 2 hours. That's fine. Okay. But that's what I give myself. I give myself 2 hours. And then maybe, and this is realistic for me, maybe I will get some other things done here. But normally, unless I have a Zoom call or something that I have to get on, this is all I'm doing on Sunday. So then let's go and look at Monday, and that would be 6/28. For this person that is the entrepreneur and they are working a 9 to 5 job, we know that from probably until about 6 p.m., they're really not available. And you say, well, why 6 p.m. if they're getting off at 5? If you have a copy of my book, Cut the BS, 7 Simple Strategies to Unlock Higher Productivity, one of the things that I talk about is proper time blocking. And so from the time it takes you to get there to wherever you're going, as well as the time that it takes you to get to your next spot, you have to account for that time within your schedule. So if I get off at 5 o'clock and I know that it's going to take me 30 minutes to get to my next destination, for my next appointment, even if that means me coming home and working, I'm not going to set an appointment for 5:30. Why? Because there's traffic. Anything can happen. I may have to stop for gas, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to start myself at 6 p.m. Okay. And one of the things that we said that this person needed to do was they needed to go through their emails and delete and unsubscribe from unnecessary subscriptions. So that in and of itself is not a one-day thing. It's also something that for you, if that's what you need to do, which I'm pretty sure all of us do, and I talked about this previously, we all have those free things that we signed up for. And then once we saw it, we were like, I'm not a right fit for that. But we did not unsubscribe from the emails and whatnot. So our inbox is full of emails that we've never even opened. So what we're going to do, we know that this is something that's going to take a few minutes. Okay. It's going to take some time. So you might want to say from 6 p.m. Ooh, I just had a thought. I just had a thought. Let's get into the reality of it all. You gotta eat dinner. Er, you have to listen. You have to eat dinner. So it might be from 6 to 7, you're cooking dinner. I'm put 7 p. then. And then because it's Monday at 7 p.m., we already know we have our BPC Monday night call. Don't play. 7. Now, if it's Coach Taria on the call, you going to 8:30. I had to. I don't know if she's watching, but if she ever watches the replay, yeah, 7 to 8:30 if it's Coach Taria. So that let's put that 8:30 on there. What time do you go to bed? Well, if you go to bed around 10:30, 10:30, you've got like an hour and a half left. What are you going to do during that time? Well, most people will say my Monday is shot. Not necessarily. Let's group some things together, because there are plenty of times, no harm, no shade, no disrespect. During that BPC call, I'm eating. Okay, because my stomach is touching my spine and it's getting aggressive. My stomach is getting aggressive. So then when the call is over at 8:30, let's say I give myself maybe like 5 minutes, because I already have my laptop up. I'm doing emails. And I'm going to do that until 9:35. 9:35, 9:45. I'm going to write that down here. You've given yourself an hour. Now, you may be the person that can do it till 10 o'clock. You might get lost in it. I have gone through this process, and after an hour my brain says stop. It says no mas, no mas. So you're going through your emails until 9:45. Now, I don't know how long it takes you to get ready for bed. For me, it's probably about 15, 20 minutes to get ready for bed. It's not a long, drawn out process for me. I know some of us, we have 20 products that we put on our face, 12 different types of oils on our skin, plus a lotion. I don't know. But you need to look and see, think about your schedule. Do you have kids? Okay. Because if you do have children that you're having to cook for, once you get done right here on Monday, y'all might all be around the table. But at 7 o'clock, if you're a BPC member, you're on this call. So you may have to slip away, or if they're, older children, they can listen in and become future BPC members. Hallelujah. Plug right now. And that's an interesting question, y'all. We have to ask Coach Taria, how old do you have to be a BPC member? Can you be a member at 18? Do you have to be 21? Because maybe you do want to bring your children in as part of this. That was just a side thing brain went to. It happens sometimes. Um, so then you're going till 9:45. You may decide to get ready for bed at this point. You may decide to do a little cleaning in your home. You may decide that at 9:50, you're responding to texts that you couldn't get to. And let's say you do that till about 10:15. No, it wouldn't take that long. Let's say about 10 o'clock. And then you start getting ready for bed. That's Monday. Tuesday, you're gonna have the same amount of time, but the difference is this part right here. What you would be inserting between that 7 to 8:30 time period. Now let me tell you what I do, because trying to rush in and fix dinner every single night was a stressor for me. What I do is I fix bigger meals like casseroles or things in the crock pot, so that I might be cooking on Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm not. We're just warming food up. So if that's not something that you've instituted, I would encourage you to look at that, because it's going to save you even more time so that you can be more productive in your business and you're still taking care of your family. So we're talking about things like lasagnas and casseroles. You can go on YouTube and get all of those one pot wonders that you do in the crock pot and save that time. Because if you're working from 9 to 5 and you're able to start your business at 6, you don't want to be up every single night till 12 or 1 o'clock, because that's going to impact your daytime job. And right now, that's your bread and butter. That's how your bills are getting paid. So you literally have from 6 to 10, you have 4 hours to do dinner with the family, come in and do some work on your business, and get yourself in the bed and rested. That's what you have the opportunity, that's what you have the time frame for. And that's realistic for your Monday through Friday. Now, when you're talking about Saturdays, obviously you're going to have more time, unless that's your Sabbath, then it would be on Sunday. So when you look at the 4 hours that you have, you want to make sure that it is realistic for you and what you have going on. That is the key to all of this. Okay? And the other key is making sure that you are not trying to fit things in, because on the other side of your brain, or even in conversation, you're hearing, oh, successful people, they don't go to sleep till 3 o'clock, or they only get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Y'all, trash that foolishness. Trash that foolishness. Because there are literal scientific studies out there right now that say if you don't get enough sleep, you are aging yourself and you are cutting your life short. You are increasing your stress levels because your brain doesn't have the opportunity to reset. You do not have to be, and I know this was a phrase at one time, team no sleep. No, 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 no. You just have to take the necessary steps within your allotted time. So for that person who says, "Ooh, well, I don't have time, I don't have time," then what I do is I look at what you're doing. Are you on the phone? Are you scrolling? Are you playing games? Are you sticking to your allotted schedule? Now, I know things happen, okay? But here's what I want you to think about. When you're on your job, are you able to respond to every single mishap that comes your way? Or do you have to wait until your break? Or do you have to wait until ABCD? Are you able to immediately respond? In most cases, no. In most cases, you are not. Take that same mentality when it comes to this time that you have for your business. Now, when my children were small, I would tell I would tell my employer, you know, I check my phone to make sure things are okay. I keep my phone turned where I can see the screen just in case my kid's school calls. That was it. It didn't matter if anybody else sent me a text or email or whatever. So I know some of you are parents to small children, and it will probably make your blood pressure go up exponentially if you can't periodically check, to make sure you haven't gotten anything from your kids. But if you are on a not but and if you are on a job where you have to leave your phone in your car or in your locker and you cannot check it no matter who it is until you have a break, put that same discipline to your business. Put the same discipline. Because if you are going to work that hard to make somebody else money, you need to have that same discipline and mindset to make you money. Okay? So you have Monday through Friday, if you're working 5 days a week, you have approximately 4 hours if you're working a 9 to 5. You have 4 hours to get your things done. Now, when it comes to going through your emails, deleting and unsubscribing, let me tell you that unsubscribe does not always work. So you may continue to get emails. You allot the time. While you're eating your lunch, you can go through and delete. You can also respond to text messages while you're eating your lunch. It's all about maximizing your appointed time because we only have 24 hours in the day. We don't get any more or any less. Okay? So we're going to say realistically, we're going to give ourselves this whole week to go through, delete, and unsubscribe from unnecessary subscriptions. We're giving ourselves an hour every single day to do that for this 1 week. Okay? Let me go to my comments, make sure I'm not seeing any questions. If y'all have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat. I will go back and forth. And I also have the stream up on my phone. So even if it doesn't come through the streaming system, I do see it on my phone. Okay. So we know that we're going to be doing the emails for 1 hour every single day. Do you have to do them at the same time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Remember, I said that you're going to have the 7 p.m. to 8:30 definitely free. Okay. And you could actually designate this time because if you take on that principle of not cooking every night and do the casseroles or whatever, You could warm up the food and everybody eat between 6 and 7. Now I hear the parents saying, well, what about um, I have to pick up my kids from rehearsals, from practice. We have parent teacher meetings. Yes, put all of that in your calendar. Do not forget your drive time. And let me say this to you, and I want you to hear me. Don't allow those things, number one, to be considered interruptions for your business. They are not interruptions. The way you look at it, your perspective is going to determine how your body responds to it. And what I mean by that is if you consider those things interruptions, it's going to create stress. And that's not what you want. It's just a part of your day. And you make the adjustment. Because most of the time, those practices are on set days. And you're talking about someone who was a single parent of 3. You make the adjustments, you add it to your calendar. It's what you do. If you are a caregiver for your parents and you have to take them on doctor's appointments, or you have doctor's appointments, whatever the case may be, just put it on your calendar and you look at it from the perspective that it's a part of my day. This is what I have to do, because your day is not just made up of business activities. You have to have balance within your personal life and your professional life, which also includes your business. So this is a part of your day, whatever day it pops up on. And it also is confirming why doing the casseroles and the bigger meals are going to help you, because you don't have to try to rush home and cook. Okay? So again, when you're factoring in your various appointments, factor in your drive time. When we're talking about time blocking, and I go into detail in this in my book, when we're talking about time blocking, you factor in everything that's associated with that task. Now, how much? I got a few more minutes, and I may go a little bit over since we had to start and stop, but I'll see. As you are doing your calendar, and I know for me, I try to be in the bed by 10:30, like in the bed at 10:30. When I first started my business, that was hard for me to do because I was just beginning. So what I want to encourage you on is, if you are just beginning or if you have been inconsistent, make the decision to be consistent, and you'll be able to create a consistent schedule for yourself. As you're going through your calendar for the day, if you are working a 9 to 5 job, give yourself one business item and one personal item that you must do for the day. Those are your non-negotiables. Let me reword that. If you're working a 9 to 5 where you cannot work on your business at all during the day, during the work hours, then give yourself those 2 non-negotiables. One for business and one for personal. Okay? If you are able to work on your business during the day while you're on your job, because I do have that flexibility as being a property manager, I do have that flexibility. Give yourself two to three non negotiables each, one for business, one for personal, where you say, I have to get these things done no matter who, what, where, or why. Okay? Give yourself those non negotiable tasks, still understanding what your time frames are and what you're going to realistically be able to do. Now, because Mondays are normally chaotic, I don't give myself a lot of tasks on Mondays. I had to learn that the hard way because I'm very task oriented, and I guess that's why the Lord has ushered me into being a productivity coach, because I'm very task oriented. And I had to learn the hard way not to give myself a whole lot on Mondays, because Mondays with my 9 to 5 job, I'm mentally drained. I have a lot coming at me on Mondays. And so by the time I get home, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do anything. So then I do the non-negotiable task to say, okay, I can at least get these 2 things, or a total of 4, these things done no matter what. And so that's what I want to encourage you all to do as well. Don't forget the SMART goal system. Do not abandon it. Do not abandon it, because that's going to keep your stress levels low. Now, when you talk about Saturday, and as I mentioned earlier, you might say, well, Saturday I want to sleep in. Fine. Sleeping in is getting up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Sleeping in, don't sleep till 1 o'clock. Do y'all know that there are people that do that? Don't do that. Do not do that, because you still have to be productive. And because you don't have all of those, as many hours throughout the week, you need that Saturday or that Sunday to get things done. So you're going to be getting up at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, moving as if you were getting ready for work. When I first started these lives, I told you at the beginning, it's going to take a mindset shift. Because the days that you're not clocking in at your job, you have to say to yourself that you're clocking in for you. And this weekly planner page is going to help you break the things down that you need to do. And it's going to help it make sense. Okay? It's going to help it make sense for your day to day. Now, and this will be the last thing that I go over for this particular person. And then in our next live, we'll go over the person who's a full-time entrepreneur. Now, when you do your planning on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is, and I have mentioned that, things will come up, things will happen. One thing that I talk about in my book is that no, N-O, N-O. You have to be okay with no, because people are going to try to get in. If it makes sense for your day, then okay. But if you're trying to do something because they're making you feel obligated, or whatever the case may be, you might need to table that. Okay. I talk about the 3 Ds in my book: delegate it, discard it, or do it. Those are the 3 Ds. And there are times when you have to refer it out. There's times where they may want it to happen on Monday, and you know your Monday tight. They may want it on Wednesday, and you know you can't do Wednesday because you have to pick your kids up and go to 3 different locations for practices. Don't allow other people's situations to stress you out. Okay? Don't do that. When you plan and you've got your week together and somebody calls you, texts you, or emails you, you let them know what's feasible for you. Like, case in point, real life, just real life talking right here with y'all. While I've been on this live, my cell phone has rung. I had it on silent so y'all couldn't hear it. My office phone has been ringing. People have been standing outside my door wanting to get in, even though the door is locked and the lights are off, except for in my office. And the reason I know they're out there is because I can see them on camera. I have cameras all over the building. And they stood out there for 10 minutes. And they're going to continue to stand out there, because I have communicated, if you want to see me, make an appointment. And so what you have to sometimes do is prove that your plans, your goals, your schedule, your end result is important. You have to prove that it is important. And sometimes that means you do that by saying, no, or not right now. However you want to word it, okay? Because if it's not important to you, it certainly will not be important to anybody else. And that's just how life and people work. They don't mean no harm, no shade, no disrespect. But what they're presenting to you is their goal, their plan, their end result. And they're pushing. Why? Because it's important to them. Think of just keep that in the forefront of your mind. I'm not telling you to go out and be difficult. And be like, oh, Miss Nichica said, no, well, I did. But there's a way you analyze it. And again, if you want the details on that, then you would go to my website, or you send me a message, and I'll send you a link to order my book, to get this weekly planner page so that you can get more organized, because we haven't even added it, because there's also like a calendar in the planner. This helps you see it because everyone is a different type of learner. So, and I love this format. I love this. I love this. It helps you see it in a different way. And if you just go into, if you're a Book Profits member, or even if you're not a member, you're part of the Facebook group, and you want to order the planner, just put a post in there and Coach Taria will respond. If you're in the Telegram group, because you are a member of BPC, put a post in there that you want to order the newest planners, and Coach Taria will respond. Because that's where I'm getting these pages from. Well, this isn't the newest, but it's still in the planner. For you all to work off of, to become more organized and handle the things that matter, which are your priorities. Okay? So remember your non-negotiables for the day. If you are working that 9 to 5 and you can't do your business during that 9 to 5, give yourself one business and one personal non-negotiable every single day, 7 days a week. If you are able to work on your business, then give yourself 2 to 3 each of the business and personal non-negotiables. And when those wonderful individuals call, text, or email you and want to get on your time, look in your planner and see where it makes sense for your end result, because they're bringing you their end result. And you have to show yourself and them that what you are trying to accomplish for that day is very, very important. And say it with love. Say it with love. All right, y'all. So that is our time for today. And next time, because we meet on the 2nd and 4th, we're live on the 2nd and 4th Fridays. I will talk about that entrepreneur who is a full-time entrepreneur, or I'll probably mix it up and do full-time entrepreneur / stay-at-home parent, because that's a whole different dynamic too. All right, let me go back here. Thank you all so much for your patience today. Lord have mercy. We're going to figure out what's going on with the group, but thank you all for being on YouTube. And I hope you all have a fantabulous weekend. If you are in North Carolina, it's going to be hot. It's supposed to be above 90 degrees today. So wherever you are, stay cool. Be cool and stay cool. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.